Hey, what is going on? I'm back. Sorry about all of that. I kept you guys waiting just a tiny bit. Man, I just was trying to make some last minute adjustments to my microphone. I still need to figure out a better orientation for this. So I don't know. I'll figure it out. I should figure it out off stream, right? But I never realize what an awkward position it's in until I start streaming. Hey, thanks for the follow, Superfly CKS. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, so what is up? Dale Kerr, how's it going? Tree for free. Hey, how's it going? Navy Cop, there's a way too much primping for the camera going back there, Tim. LOL. Strum, yeah, I know. It's like this huge debate. Like, do I keep my, do I keep my intro screen and get rid of it? Or do I, yeah, what am I trying to say? I know what you're saying. But anyway, sorry, my mind, I was reading one of the messages. But yeah, it's this huge debate. Like, do you have starting soon screen or not? Like, people are for or against it. I'm kind of for it because it forces me to actually go live and see all of my levels. See everything as I'm live, before I'm live, kind of like I guess YouTube live does. But yeah, then I start realizing, oh, the microphone's not exactly where I like it. And, I forget as soon as I'm done streaming to make those adjustments. So yeah, and then I'm usually always eye drops and Carmex just because. And drinking lots of water or fluids right before. Because I talk a lot. So how's it going, Navy Cop? Haven't seen you in a while. How's it going divided by 0? Yeah, what's up? What's new? How's your Saturday going? Mine is going pretty okay so far. Super busy. Whenever I release a video, it's just that day is super busy. You would think I would just be oh yes, and relax. No, it's a lot of other stuff. It's push up my documentation, fix documentation, make sure Discord's in order, make sure all my YouTube stuff's right, social media stuff. So it's a whole nother job when I release a video. And I almost accidentally pushed up some of the documentation last night. I was like, oh, that would kind of ruin the surprise a little bit. Not that it's a huge surprise, but hey, Creepinson, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. But yeah, so I almost pushed up the documentation. So I'm always just there's 15 things I have to do, and I always forget one, and I did forget one today. So I forgot about it until 2 hours later. I was like, yeah, I should probably do that. Yassine06, hi Tim, hey, how's it going? Creepinson, how are you? How's it going? Yeah, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Divided by 0. The week is insane for me. Our global desktop team is pushing Office 365 1902, and it's making a mess of everyone's PCs. Wow. Well, I could imagine. Wow, it's funny because I used to do a lot of software deployment too in enterprise, especially with Office. But it was before the Office 365 days, and so we'd have to push out full-on Office, and that was before there were, I think, containerized with that V. Is Office 365 still containerized with that V or whatever, however Microsoft is containerizing it in their, I thought at V. Maybe it's something different. But I can imagine, I can totally imagine, because that is the biggest behemoth of a software package you can push out in enterprise, hands down. And I used to do some of that. So I totally feel your pain. I can't imagine what it's like now, but I can remember preparing for, different Office versions, different Office service packs, making sure upgrades work, making sure Active Directory policies are in place for software, making sure that SCCM has replicated our packages all over the world. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. So when you say you're pushing out Office 365 1902, do you mean you're pushing out an update to 365 that they already have on their machine, or is this replacing, I don't know, 2015 or 2012 or whatever's out there now? Yeah, interested to hear, because I used to do some of that stuff too. I don't know, 7 years ago or something like that. It was super fun, a lot of planning, ton of planning, and then you just kind of cross your fingers. Well, we had beta rollouts, we had people who were opted in early and can go into SCCM, the package manager, and install it themselves, and so stuff like that. But it's scary. And then like your network team, they don't like you around that time too, because like, yeah, because you're replicating that package all around the world, you know, and it's huge. It's huge. Besides pushing out Windows, Microsoft Office is the second biggest thing you could push out, especially over the network. Navy Cop, hey, thanks for the follow. Pure Stitch, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Navy Cop, had a few things come up during the past couple of lives, but relaxing today for the most part, maybe a little too much with what I need to get done. I hear you. Yeah, man, I hear you. We're all super busy. What do you got going on when you say you got too much to do? Is it life stuff, tech stuff, other stuff? Yeah, I'd like to know. Divided by zero, that's replacing, that's the build of 365. It's replacing Office 2016. Hey, thanks for the follow. Apologize, I can't read. Oh, gray or white? That was weird. Somehow, that looks, I think Korean to me. Apologize if it's not. Kind of looks like it to me. But thank you for the follow. I can't pronounce your name, but somehow Stream Elements translated it to gray or white. It's Korean. Yeah, all right, I got it. And if you're, gray or white, I see. Hey, how's it going? I apologize, I can't read it, but I see how they translate it because it's in parens. So gray or white, hey, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. Welcome. That's replacing the build of Office 365. Okay, it's Office 2016. So do they still use the whole AppV, the app container thing, which made installing it really awesome, and not as like manual and as it used to be? Because it used to be like MSIs, you build custom packages with their Office tool, and then you have group policies and all this stuff. Let me know. I'm curious. Sorry, plane's going over and I have windows open, so a little background noise. Yassine, love the video today. I want to set up Rancher to try out Kubernetes, and as I already had a Portainer, have tried to deploy Kate's beta. Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. You guys know that I'm a huge fan of Rancher. And so when I saw this, I was like, okay, this is awesome. And I knew it was out there, but I didn't know how close it was. You know, how close Portainer really was to releasing their Kubernetes version. And so when I saw this, I was like, okay, I got to put something together because, like I say in that video at the end, I love it when people containerize applications. And so if you're going to use Portainer, if you're going to use Rancher, even if you use LXC, whatever you use, I'm just happy that people containerize things. So I thought, hey, I don't want to just be like, Rancher, because I know people might have infrastructure in place. They might already love things like Portainer. They might have it set up already, and so they're a part of that community. So I wanted to welcome more people into this community too. And it was a good learning experience for me. Like I appreciate a lot of the stuff that Portainer's doing. I know a lot more about Portainer than I ever have. Because up until now, I understood what they did. I understood, a lot of the underlying technology, but it was just, kind of high level. And so when I started looking into it, I had a huge debate too, because I was like, okay, they're releasing this on the 31st. Should I be 2 days early to this or 5 days late? And so I kind of had to hedge my bets and go 2 days early on this. And I know that there are a couple things that won't work, are not fully working until they release the new version in less than 2 days. So 2 days, I think Australian time, possibly. I think they're based out of Australia. I should know this. And now I'm making assumptions. But anyways, so I'm glad you liked it. And I'm glad you're containerizing things. That's super awesome. So you see, without success for now, as my cluster doesn't deploy, but great. Okay, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. The interesting thing that I saw that I thought was cool and kind of a testament to what Rancher's been doing is that Portainer is using K3D and K3S, and K3S is a certified version of Kubernetes. It's a lightweight version that Rancher created. So it's so awesome to see Portainer like piggyback on the awesome work that the open source community and Rancher has done. So awesome. And it's awesome too that it's K3S, because then it's like, okay, now you really have choices to manage K3S. So super awesome. Super awesome. I was so happy to see that. Divided by zero, click to run, MSI through SCCM. Okay, click to run. I remember that. Yeah, this is man, I used to do this stuff, but way back in the day, and it was, it was super fun. Worked with SCCM team to put it together, and it was fun. It was fun to roll out. I don't remember what version of Office I helped roll out. Was it? I think it was 2012, which was, obviously with big global companies, it's not they're not going to release it in 2012. So I think this was like 2015 or something, 2014 maybe. Maybe it was close, but anyways, yeah. Man, let me know how that goes, because I hear you, man. That stuff's hard. I've said it a few times. That's like one of the biggest rollouts ever that you can do in the enterprise, besides a new operating system, is a new version of Office, because everyone depends on it for everything. You have Excel and Outlook and Word, and people depend on that every day. And then people depend on Excel. People treat Excel like it's their database, and they have all their formulas and they have all their VLOOKUPs and tables and whatnot running inside of Excel. And Excel is their application, and they make applications out of it. So, man, I'm with you. I hope it goes well. Wow, hey, Cowstub, I hope I didn't slaughter that name. Cowstub, HJ. Thank you so much for subscribing. Really appreciate it. Wow, that was really awesome. Very early on. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for being here. First time seeing your name too, so thank you. I believe so, but thanks for the sub. Navy Cop, still renovations and garden work. Ripping up the garage, rewiring, insulating out there, building paths, burying drip irrigation lines, etc. outside. Wow, that sounds like you have your hands full. So you're like doing outside work and inside work and renovating and all of that. That's it's a ton of work. Sounds like something I would want to put off too. Because man, that's tough. Fortunately, our yard is kind of settled and we're not doing anything inside now, so it's pretty. I don't know. Everything stable in our house. We're not remodeling or doing anything anytime soon, so pretty awesome. Need a little bit of work outside, but I might put it off till spring. KPXTX. I installed 48-inch media panel in the garage, and my ISP just came out and put ONT on ONT. All of my network is now a media center in the wall. 10 out of 10 beauty. Wow. Sorry about that. I had something in my throat. Man, that sounds awesome. That sounds super awesome. I would love to see that. You should probably post it in our Discord for sure, in our images or our Homelab pics, because I would love to see that. Yeah, I always love like wall-mounted stuff or custom-made cabinets mounted in the wall, because it's just most of the time it just fits right in with what you got going on. So that sounds awesome. That sounds like a project. Was that like a ton of work? Did you do it all yourself? Did you buy the parts? Did you custom build it? Yeah, tell me more about that. Creepitson, hey, when you said the Portainer config doesn't persist in Discord, do you mean that the pod volumes 2 Minecraft file servers? Oh, it's just the Portainer UI config, I believe. Yeah, because those containers will still be running. They'll still be there. Yeah, it's something that they said when they release it, it will be fixed, but as of now, it's not. So it's kind of, it's unfortunate timing, and I didn't know it until 3/4 of the way into my video, and I was like, oh, that kind of stinks. And then I found, I talked to one of the guys at Portainer, and And I also saw a GitHub issue, and they're like, this is going to be fixed on the final version, which is less than 2 days away. So like I said, I I had to make a decision, and I didn't know about that bug or that feature until I got to that point. And I'm like, what can you do? Like, it's, you know, I applaud you for, man, day 0 of my video already jumping in. I love it. Love it. I love that people jump right in and test some of these weekend projects out because, yeah, that's awesome. But your Docker container should still be there. Everything should still be there. I think it's just like the initial config that it just doesn't persist for some reason. But I think they kind of explained it. Like they didn't want to have to deal with upgrades during the beta. And so their way of moving fast was not doing that. And I'm summarizing or putting words in their mouth, but I think that's what's going on. Mako1, yo, my man. How you doing? Mako, hey, I'm doing good. How are you doing? Good to see you. Hope you're well. Cow Stub, hi Techno Tim. Sorry I'm late. No, you're not late. You're right on time. I'm usually late, so I think it was a couple minutes late today. But yeah, Dale Kurt or EFK stack. What's the EFK stack? I know Elk stack. So that's Elk stack is Elastic Logstash Kibana. What's F? What's the F in there? I'm assuming it's a different stack like that. Technotim, you should check out Helm charts and Lens IDE for Kubernetes. Yeah, what's that all about? Is that yeah, tell me more about that. Lens IDE, I assume integrated development environment. So something like, you know, like a Visual Studio Code, like an Atom, or is this something just for developing Helm charts? I'm kind of, I mean, I understand Helm charts, kind of new to me. I use them sparingly, and I think they're awesome. I'm just, I think Traffic was the first one I did like from scratch. Other than that, I'll copy and paste Helm charts, and I kind of get them, and I love them. I understand why they exist. It's almost like, the way I understand it is like a Compose, but for, like a Docker Compose, but for Kubernetes, and it's super awesome. And there's just like tons of Helm charts. I think it's on helm.io, and I love them, love looking through them. And we've used a few at work to help spin up things really quick, and it's awesome. I3LU Fire. VBA macros are written in my day-to-day. Ah, there we go. In Excel, there we go. Totally. I was just saying, like, some people depend on those, and Excel is more than just a spreadsheet. People, and this is just only based on my previous Office experience. It's like, Excel workbooks become databases and applications, and people do amazing things with them. And yeah, you don't want to mess up Excel. You don't want to mess up Outlook. You don't want to mess up Excel. Word, No, I'm kidding. But yeah, and of course Access. But a lot of people, I guess, still use Access. We always try to get people off Access and get rid of Access databases and have them move to web applications. But that's in my previous life, my previous days. I was here last Saturday. Oh, cow stuff. I apologize. Well, hey, I apologize. I just the name looked different to me, so I apologize. So, well, thank you for being here again, and I will for sure remember the name. Last Saturday was a big Saturday for me, so there was a lot of people, so I apologize. And if you let me know how I pronounce your name, I think that would help too. Yeah. So, hey, Demon King, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Creepitson. Okay, that's good. Yeah, for sure. Like anything you see right now is because it's the beta, but in less than 48 hours, it won't be beta anymore. So you'll be good. I trust what they're doing, and I totally get why they do it. Is because it's beta, they don't want to focus on beta things. So yeah. Yeah, you got my emoji now. Cow stub. Dale Kurt Fluent. Okay, so EFK is Elastic Fluent and Kibana. Awesome. Okay, I've done Elk Stack before. Elastic Logstash and Kibana for logging and metrics and monitoring. Hey, R&D Mind. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. So Fluent, nice. Okay, I haven't used the EFK stack. So Fluent, then you're just using a Fluent database versus piping the logs from Logstash, I assume. Dale Kurt, managing Kubernetes clusters, though, an IDE UI. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So what does the UI look like? I can't even imagine what that would look like. Because you know, the UI I use to manage Kubernetes clusters now is, you know, now I have Rancher. Well, I've had Rancher, now I have Portainer, and then Google Cloud, because I use Google Cloud elsewhere, and Kubernetes used to have its own UI, dedicated UI for managing Kubernetes, but I think they stopped. I don't know if they stopped developing it or whatever, but now I think it's up to most cloud providers to provide that UI. And so I've used Google Cloud's UI as well. What's also great is BotCube for Kubernetes Slack integration. Oh, interesting. So BotCube, okay. So is that like a pre-built bot for you? Cause that's awesome. Cause I write custom code, for my bots. And if I could just pull down, you know, a bot that was pre-configured and I passed in some environment variables, that would be cool too. But most of my bots I write custom commands for. I wonder how that'd work. Yeah. Tell me more about the BotCube. Slack integration. Is that for monitoring or is that like custom actual bots? Or is that more for notifications? The Lens UI is pretty simple. Okay, gotta write this one down. Okay, so a couple things I need to be more informed on. Okay, EFK for sure. Let me turn the page on this because this page of my notebook is looking pretty crazy. EFK. Lens UI. And what else are we talking about in here that I need to be more informed on? Which was, well, it was Lens UI, I guess. Lens UI is what you were saying. Interesting. Okay, I definitely got to check this out for sure. So what do I get with Lens UI? I'm still like, I know you say it's a UI for managing Kubernetes clusters, but so far my experience, like I said, has been Rancher, Portainer now, and Google Cloud. So yeah, tell me more. Tell me more about that. Demon King. In a previous job, I was editing 2 different VBA scripts that were 70,000 plus lines of code. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy, and that's awesome. Maybe. Depends on what the code was doing. That sounds like a lot of business logic in there. You know what I mean? Man, I applaud anyone who's building applications on top of Microsoft products, because man, that's got to be tough. It's like Excel, you know, using Excel more like an application in a database than workbooks. So that is crazy. How do you even manage that? And how do you source control that? And how do you see revisions? I guess you get revisions of the document, but do you source control the actual VBA too? I don't know any of this, because like I switched from that to, you know, software engineering. I went from basically automation to software engineering. And then like there was nothing in between for me, like something like this. So man, that sounds, yeah, what how do you even manage that? Like, yeah, do you source control that thing? Do you just go into Windows file history and look at revisions? Like if you made something or made a mistake? Yeah, that's interesting. Dale Kurt. Sorry, dry throat today. Yes, I get notifications and you can do some chat ops. Interesting. Oh, okay. So chat ops. So you could run like custom commands to say like pull latest, you know, get latest or whatever, redeploy this pod, or scale out this cluster. I think is that what it sounds like? I'm gonna say I blue fire. Is that I blue fire or I 3U fire? I'm gonna say blue. Or blue fire. Maybe it's just blue fire. That might be some new leak characters I haven't seen yet. And Ina 3. Ina 3, is that a B? I'll go with blue. Blue fire. Jesus, Demon King, that is massive. I totally agree. I want to hear more about that. Because I want to figure out like how people are doing this and how they're not how they're actually writing the code, but how they're like maintaining that code within Excel. Because man, that sounds hard. Sounds real hard. Dale Kurt, notifications, alert, and chat ops. Yep. Kate's Lens. Okay. Kate's lens. Maybe this is the same thing. So Kubernetes lens, I'm assuming, UI. Yeah, open source channel. Hey, that looks like a new name. I think I saw the follow earlier today when I was offline. Hey, Game F Jump. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Open source channel. Hey, how's it going? Kate Lens or Kubernetes Lens. Nice. Yeah, you guys are all in this. You guys know a lot of Kubernetes. That's awesome. Got to check it out. I got to check it out because it would be fun and interesting and cool to be able to hop in my Slack channel and tell one of my pods to pull latest or to whatever, scale up, scale down. Hey, Tedness. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. But yeah, so now my gears are turning. Okay, so I already do a little lightweight automation in both my Discord server and my Slack server. But now the wheels are turning. So yeah, so I have some health checks set up, but not the greatest. And I do use some third-party services. So this sounds awesome, especially like if for whatever reason this happens, like my token expires in something and my pod's in a tailspin and it's just like 403 reboot loop, this would be sweet because then I could either scale it down to stop like hitting this service until I fix it because yeah, it doesn't hurt me any, but they might end up blocking me because I'm making so many 403 calls. Or scale it down, or maybe pull latest for whatever reason when I deploy code, or revert. Revision history, right? You have revision history in Kubernetes. Yeah, wheels are turning now. I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. BotCube, that's another one. Haven't seen this yet. Man, you guys are giving me so many ideas. Thank you. So let's see, Game F Jump, do you think that a Canon PowerShot SX740 is a good stream camera? I think so. So I think, yeah, what do I think? So I have an A6400. It's probably in line with an, a PowerShot. But I mean, does the so I don't know the specs right off the top of my head, but does that PowerShot, can it do 1080p 60? And if so, does it have a clean HDMI output? Those are the two questions you always need to ask yourself whenever you're trying to use either a DSLR, a mirrorless, or a PowerShot, or whatever type of camera it is. You got to ask yourself those two questions. If it can do 1080p 60 and it has clean HDMI output, I would say yeah. And does it have interchangeable lenses? I don't know enough about this, but those are the three questions I ask myself even when I upgraded my own camera and switched from a traditional webcam to a mirrorless camera or a DSLR. So, and if you don't know the answer to those questions, I would just Google, PowerShot SX740 clean HDMI output, and you should be able to see. And so what a clean HDMI output, if you don't know, it's basically getting exactly what it says, is getting the clean HDMI output without the overlay of the menu system. So I could actually turn on the menu system of my camera and you'd see it right now, or you'd see all the overlays that I see. Like I see the autofocus focusing on my head, I see the aperture, I see the white balance and whatnot. And so you don't want to see that when you do a clean HDMI output, if it comes with it. And so another great resource for that too is Camlink. So Camlink is in the business of connecting your nice camera to your PC or your Mac. And so they've documented a lot of this for you because obviously they want you to buy the product and they're great products. So that might be a good place to look too. Logic23, thanks for the follow, appreciate it, welcome. So anyways, ask yourself 3 questions. 1, clean HDMI output. 2, does it do 1080p 60? 3, does it have interchangeable lenses? And then 4, is it a good deal? So if you can say yes to those, I would say yeah. And then if you still don't know the answer, I would just hop on YouTube and say, ask that same question. YouTube's pretty good at answering questions and you might see some real comparisons. And you might have big channels like Alpha Gaming. The Alpha Gaming channel does a lot of comparisons. So does Apos Vox, and Apos Vox probably has a comparison of every camera ever known to humanity. So those are good ones to look at too. So hopefully that helps. Not an expert in all cameras. I've used a handful. And I do use, a Camlink, and works out pretty okay. And before this A6400 that I have now, the Sony mirrorless, I had the lower model. I forget the 25 or something, 52, which I think was pretty okay. So sorry, didn't mean to go way off, but hope that helps, Game F Jump. Dale Kurt, check out the site, pretty much visualizing Kubernetes clusters. Okay, I like this. I'm definitely gonna check it out for sure. Because I don't have great visualization for Kubernetes. You know, I get some great management with Portainer or Rancher, but not a good visualization, I guess. And there, I don't know. Yeah, so I feel like, yeah, I don't have a ton of visibility in Rancher 2 or Portainer like I used to in Rancher 1. In Rancher 1, I could tell you down to the pod level how much CPU it's using and how much RAM. It's kind of hard to find. I got to dig for it. But yeah, definitely gonna check it out. Thank you for sharing that with me, because that sounds awesome. Cowstub. Hey Techno Tim, I'm a network engineer and trying to combine all Radius server and all other services on Rancher with Kubernetes clusters. As of last week, I asked you about Dell 710 or 810. I purchased the 810. Can you more elaborate how to containerize the services? Yeah, so wow, that's pretty ambitious. But it depends on what you're using for your Radius server. It depends on what you're using for any of your services. So the way that I usually begin, you know, when I started this journey of virtualization and then I started this journey of containerization, you know, I started like this. I virtualized a Linux server. I usually choose Ubuntu. I know there's different flavors out there of Linux or Unix-like systems you can choose. I typically choose Ubuntu because it's pretty well supported. Then from there, you know, I choose my containerization platform. You could go plain old Docker, you could go Rancher, and now you can go Portainer. You could go Portainer before, but then from there, you know, I choose one of those. For me, personally, it's Rancher. And it's Rancher 2 because I get Kubernetes. And then from there, what I do is usually peruse Docker Hub. So I look for the service I know. You know, I look for the service I know, like whatever, like Heimdall or any other service that I use, Minecraft server. And then I just either search, you know, Docker Hub for a Minecraft server Docker image, or I just Google for it. And then that's my process. And I'm just like, okay, they have a Docker image. Here's an official one. Oh, here's a more popular one. And then I'll go and look to see, you know, I'll do some lightweight investigation. You know, I'll go and look and I'll say, how many polls does it have? Because, you know, if it's sitting around 1,000 polls on Docker Hub, I'm kind of like, okay, not so popular. If it's sitting at 1 billion or something crazy like Portainer has or Rancher has, then I'm like, yeah, this is pretty legit. And that's, you know, who knows? That could be spoofed or whatever. But that's one signal or one metric I use to determine how popular something is. Then I'll go to the GitHub and I'll just kind of look around. How many issues? When was the last commit? When was the last push and commit? When was the last release? And I'll kind of do the same in Docker Hub too. You know, when was the last tag? And so those are the kind of things I evaluate, just like any piece of software you were going to use. But think of, you know, Docker images like pieces of software. Same type of research. And then from there, once you pick it, then it's as easy as like looking at their Docker file or their documentation, seeing which ports they expose, seeing which environment variables they support, and seeing which volumes they map. And then from there, then I map that to whatever system I'm using. If it's plain old Docker, they've already given you the command. And so you just have to replace their example commands with real commands or argument values with legitimate argument values. If you're using Portainer or Rancher, then you get a form. So you get a web form, and it's super easy. And most of the time you can copy and paste those exact arguments and paste them in, and Rancher will parse them for you and put them in. And then that's all it is. On Docker, you hit enter and your Docker container's running. It's exposing those ports. It's mapping those those volumes and possibly passing in any environment variables. And same with Rancher and Portainer. It's going to spin up that workload, pass in those environment variables, map those volumes, and you're good to go. And then so then you have that container running on that host machine, and then it can be exposed a few different ways. The easiest way is just host port, or node port, or host port, and that just exposes that port on that host machine. So then if you had something looking for a Radius server, you would say, hey, my Radius server is the IP of this machine with this port. And most, it might not even need ports. So that's super high level, and I'm not an expert in auth, wireless auth or auth in general. But that's kind of how I would do it. So I hope that helps. Hopefully that helps. Hey, wow. Cow Stub, gifted a tier, Wolf Norak. Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate it. I'm sorry if I'm talking your ear off. I hope that helps. I'm not an expert in Radius, but I've done a ton of Docker stuff. Hey, Jay Peel, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. I've done a lot of Docker stuff, and it's all kind of the same. I follow that same pattern every single time. And so it doesn't matter if it's a Radius server, doesn't matter if it's a mail server, doesn't matter if it's Heimdall, doesn't matter what the container is. I follow that same pattern. Then, if it's a website, I do some additional stuff to get SSL for that service, and for that I use traffic. So hopefully that helps. Bluefire, I wish. Bluefire, that's massive. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what the I wish was for. So I apologize. Got caught up there. Let's see. Game F Jump, I think I answered that already. HTDAR, hello Tim, can you talk a bit more about Kong and Conga? Sure, I can talk about those. So Kong is an API gateway. And if you're not familiar with an API gateway, it's something you put in front of your APIs. So if you have a couple of microservices or a couple of web APIs, API A and API B. Kong is something you put in front of it so that you can enrich or monitor or log those API transactions or requests. And so I've used Kong in the past where I would put my Kong API gateway in front of all of my APIs, and then I would have all my microservices behind it. And then when my clients call into my APIs, they'd really call into Kong, some URL, whatever, api.example.com, and then I would add paths. So path 1 was API A, path 2 was API B, path 3 was API C, and so on and so forth. And so what that does is a couple of things. One, it creates kind of like a reverse proxy, in front of all of your APIs. And so now you can mix and match and swap stuff out and do things behind the scenes and change them. Kong can also parse query params, do some kind of validation. You can add API keys if you want. You can manage users from there if you want, and hand out API keys. And you can do a ton of stuff. And so also what you get from that too is a lot of metrics and monitoring. So you can look at your dashboard if you have one and say, how many 404s is whatever are happening? How many 500s? How many 403s? 403s or 401s or whatever HTTP status code you want to check on, Kong can do a lot of that for you. So that's kind of how I've used Kong. HTDAR, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Welcome. That's how I've used Kong in the past. And then Conga is a little UI to manage Kong. So Kong has a lot of free, Joey Lucky, thanks for the follow. Wow, they're really rolling in. Thank you so much, I appreciate it, welcome. So Conga is a way to administer Kong. And so Kong, is your API gateway, and they have a open source community version, and then they have an enterprise version. Like most open source software that needs to monetize something, or they'll go away. That's what they do, and they have a support model and stuff like that. But they still give away the free community edition or the enterprise open source version. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So long story short, Konga helps you set up Kong, because once you run Kong, Kong is completely in a default state, not configured at all. And so I use Konga to configure my APIs, set up those routes, set up my API keys and everything like that. So that's the, I don't know if that's the long version or the short version, but that's what I'm sticking with. So hopefully that helps, HTDAR. Dale Kurt, I've been reading up on how difficult it is to block YouTube video ads. Yeah, you know, I think Pi-hole does a decent job, to be honest. You know, and yeah, I haven't figured it out either. Pi-hole does an okay job, and the reason why I can tell is because on my phone, when I switch from, you know, my wireless LAN to mobile data, I see them. But sometimes, so it's I don't know. Sometimes they're, I mean, I see them for my own videos when I go back and watch them. I know they're kind of annoying, but yeah, it is. It's hard to block ads on a lot of stuff. Like ad blockers are trying to stay one step ahead of ad servers, and the ad servers are there to make money. The ad blockers are there to do, you know, for goodwill. And so I think the people making the money are trying to get ahead of ad blockers too. So yeah, it's going to be a constant battle, you know, leapfrog all the time, where it might work for some ad blockers one day, but you know, sure enough, ad servers are going to figure it out and fix it soon. And it's going to be a moving target all the time for both parties involved. Game F jump. Yeah, answered that question a couple of times. HTDAR, interested in using Kong to wrap some internal programs with APIs so that it can plug them into other stuff. Is that the right way to go about it? It can be used in many different ways. You can use it for external, you can use it for internal. It's really up to you. Like I said, the way I've used it in the past is to have one central place where all clients can go, whatever, api.example.com. So that I don't have to have 15 URLs or whatever floating all around the place in code. And then, you know, I give each API a path. And the nice thing is, in the future, I can just swap out. Like if I'm working on V2 of an API, you know, once I spin up that new container, V2 of the API, it should just work. And now all the clients don't need to change their URLs. And that's, I guess, another feature of putting, you know, an API gateway in front of it, which you could do by itself with Nginx. You could do the same thing with Nginx and without involving an API gateway, because an API gateway gives you a lot more monitoring metrics than just using something like just Nginx or any reverse proxy you want to put in front of it. So it's really going to be up to you and what you need. But yeah, it does sound like you're on the right track. And just to be clear, these are for HTTP or web protocol stuff. You highlighted your message? Am I seeing these twice? Oh yeah, I'm seeing them twice. Probably because I'm behind. You guys are ahead of me, but I'm catching up. Already answered that, Cowstub. So let's see here, Dale Kurt. I bought myself a cam link. Very hard to get these days. I totally agree. Cam links are so hard to get a hold of. I have it connected with my Sony a6300 using a 16mm lens. Awesome. Pretty close to what I'm using. So yeah, they're a great piece of technology. I have one that I used prior to getting, I don't remember. I have some other 4-port card now because I have more HDMI inputs than I used to need. But I've grown a little bit since then, at least my need for video inputs. But I still have a cam link, and that's actually what I use for work on my Mac. I connect this camera to my cam link, and then I have an HDMI switcher. So work, when I'm working from home, I just click the button. I put it in light mode because I don't think work would appreciate my dark mode. No, they probably would. They probably think it's cool. But, I try not to hit the colored lights. I switch those and then open the blinds and make it look like I'm not in a cave. And then, I use same camera with Cam Link to my Mac for my Zoom calls. So it's pretty awesome. But right now, crazy expensive. And it's not just gamers, it's everyone. It's everyone wanting a high quality conference call right now. So it's, they're being sold for a lot more than they're worth. They're worth. I think they're worth, what they're selling for at retail price, but not now. So if you can wait, do wait. Game of Gem. Okay, I'm gonna do some more research. Awesome. Yeah, remember those 4 questions. Ask yourself those, and I think you'll find the answer. Demon King. 70,000 lines of VBA were for a Fortune 500 company that my company was contracted. I assume it's contracted with. A lady would call me at 3 p.m. asking me for a new sorting data flagging option for 1/many tabs. She wanted it done by 8 a.m. the next morning. Fortune 500 companies must have did control version. I just got the latest copy along with best guess as to where the new code would need to be and inserted it. Not my most pleasant thing to work on, but very challenging. Yeah, so that's crazy. You were writing that code. That's awesome. Yeah, that's man, you are doing good work there, my friend. Man, that's got to be tough. I couldn't imagine. Could not imagine. And then how do you test it too? So for me, part of software development, a lot of verifying my work is either, visually, manually testing it and looking at it, or writing unit tests for it to verify my work. And so I couldn't imagine, do you keep that off somewhere else, or do you actually program in Excel and put it in? Because that blows my mind. That is awesome, my friend. Last Breeze, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Thank you. Welcome. Demon King, home servers running Portainer plus Docker starter. Your video today about Portainer 2.0 might get me to convert to Kubernetes for learning. Hey, awesome. And that's not to say that, Portainer's not going to still support Swarm and not still going to support Docker host. It's another option. And I think they see how big Kubernetes is. And I think I think they've realized that this is an opportunity that they don't want to miss out on. And because they're doing awesome work for sure. DZ, man, I missed 40 minutes. Been doing home network administration for updates. Awesome. Sounds like a fantastic morning. I enjoy doing administration work, especially in the morning, and just kind of turning on some tunes, updating my stuff, writing some code or doing whatever, and doing administration and just getting everything in order. Yeah, it's part of my weekend too, and I enjoy it. It's part of a lot of my time. But yeah, I enjoy doing that stuff too. So you didn't miss much. Just me talking, answering questions. But yeah, welcome. Glad you're here. Let's see. Man, I'm getting caught up, guys. I promise. Skal, hey, how's it going? Welcome. JPL, how much of a time sink is the support for the API gateway and API for all of your clients? Can you manage all of your own in addition to your dev work? That question was probably to me. My clients, it sounds funny when you say my clients, because I'm thinking oh man, I'm thinking it's a little more formal. So most of my clients are websites that I wrote, or applications that I wrote, or web apps, or mobile apps, or internal services that are also clients, in the client server relationship. And so for me, it's not a ton of admin work, but I will admit though that I went a little more vanilla when I switched over to Rancher 2. So if you haven't been following, over the last month and a half, I've been migrating from Rancher 1 to Rancher 2. I already had some of my internal services on Rancher 2, easy, piece of cake. My external services that provide data or whatever to the public internet or to clients that I have out there lived on my other Rancher instance, which was Rancher 1, which was not Kubernetes. So long story short, I had to do a lot of migration, and I had to flip the switch and kind of hoped it all worked. When I did flip the switch and hoped it all worked, I had some problems with Kong, and nothing against the product. It was just, it ended up being, worked out well for me in my old environment. It didn't work out so great in my new environment. So I used that as an opportunity to just go back to, managing my microservices individually and then just putting traffic in front of it. But like all of my infrastructure and all of the things I do, I'm on a quest now to find another API management solution. So I've used Kong and I've used Tyke or Tick, Tyk. And I'll be honest, I really love Tyke or Tick because it had a great UI. It was blazing fast, and so was Kong. But Tick gave me a lot more visibility into my APIs. I could see, it would map it geographically. It would show me all of my alerts. I could search logs. Like, it did so much stuff. But that's because they gave me the enterprise for free for a year. And so after that expired, then I went to Kong and I was like, okay, well, Tick said basically, hey, you can still use our service, but you're not getting our awesome UI. And I was like, well, that kind of makes it part of why I want it. So I was just like, whatever, I'll try Kong now, because Kong's super, super, super popular too. And so I went with that. There are other ones out there that people use too that are, amazing and very popular. Then I'm going to explore some more. So yeah, that's a great question. It did provide or did give a little bit of overhead and a little extra, brain power that I had to apply to it each time I did it, because it wasn't like Nginx or it wasn't like anything else. I was learning Kong's, DSL, their domain specific language, and that's where I was kind of like, do I want to spend my time learning about Kong, or do I want to just like have these services running, the way that I've, built them? So anyways, long story short, I did some moving around and changing with DNS and SSL and paths and domain names. And I was like, that doesn't match to what Kong used to be. So instead of like reconfiguring all of Kong and then bringing my services back up, I was just like, no Kong for now, but I'll figure it out later. So yeah. But that's not to say it's not an awesome product, because I might go back to it. I just, like I said, re-architected how some of my services worked. And so yeah, and use that time for my migration as an opportunity to go back to kind of vanilla until I decide what's next. And so rather than me design my APIs to work with an API gateway, I want something a little more that I could just slipstream in, and use as is, versus like making my APIs fit a certain way. And that, nothing about Kong, it's just when I set it up to begin with, I made Kong, give Kong like a little bit too much control over what my API path should look like and, what domains I should use. And that's not their fault. That's how I set it up. So anyways, long story short, I'm on a quest for a new API gateway, and I hear there's some awesome ones out there. HTDAR did indeed. Thank you, my man. Yeah, no problem. Skull, Twitch ads have been getting obnoxious lately as well. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I don't understand. Like I get it. Yeah. So I'll talk about Twitch ads for a little bit, because it impacts all of you, and and impacts everyone who comes to my channel and everyone on Twitch. And so it's kind of odd that Twitch. So full disclosure, there's absolutely no way I can turn off pre-roll ads or ads in general on my channel unless you're subscribed. That's just how it is with Twitch. And so I can't disable pre-roll unless I run a 1-minute ad or a 90-second ad, I think every 15 minutes. And so I'm like, I'm not going to just be like, hey guys, I'm going to run an ad break right now for 60 seconds so all the new people coming in don't have to see an ad. And so I put it to the bare minimum. I'm like, subscribers don't get ads, turn off all ads. I basically disabled everything that I can. But Twitch, if you're an affiliate, Twitch allows you to monetize your channel. One way that you can monetize your channel is through ads. And one of the ways that they place ads is a pre-roll ad, like you see on YouTube. And so Twitch has turned that on. I have no way of disabling it unless I force everyone to watch a 1 or 2 minute video or advertisement every, I think 15 or 20 minutes or 30 minutes. I don't know what it is, but either way, I'm not gonna ever press that button. I'm never gonna press that button. I'm never gonna be like, even if I'm like, hey, be right back, I'm not gonna press like roll an ad right now, because I don't like it. So anyways, yeah, I totally agree. Sometimes it's just like, you want to go check out someone's channel, boom, you're hit with 2 ads. You're like, and they're like 30-second ones too. So yeah, I think Twitch needs to figure that out. And I think they are starting to figure it out, because people bail after that, I know it's like, you got people bailing from channels because they don't want to see Twitch ads, and it has nothing to do with the channel. But yeah, anyways, Yeah, I'm there with you because even though I stream on Twitch, I watch more Twitch than I stream. And I'm not lying, I do. It's on in the background. Same with YouTube. A video about Kong and Conga could be a good idea. I totally agree. I think so too. And I think I'm right there with you. I just need to figure out what the next step in my journey is. Because I'm not using the API gateway that I was using before. But I think so too, because I think a lot of people are interested in it. And I would love to be able to compare products, but it's kind of hard to compare, some of the features when a lot of them are paid features versus free features, and it kind of muddies the water. And then it's hard to, it's hard to compare products when there's nothing tangible to look at other than code or config. And so, yeah, I'm hoping there's one out there that gives me a great UI and management features, compared to the others right now that aren't paid. Techno Dim. So this is Cow Stub. Currently, I'm using. Wow, is this the same question? But right now we are moving to BNG Broadband Network Gateway. But monitoring all CPE and ONT are kind of difficult, so it needs to be ACS, Auto Configuration Server, i.e. Genie ACS. For monitoring and billing, I'm using UNMS and UCRM. All services are running on bare metal, that hefty on electricity and maintained. Yeah, so going back to what I said before, I mean, one, if they're all bare metal, I mean, your first step could be consolidating to virtual servers. That's a quick, easy step. Hey, can this one server carry the load of these, 2, 3, 4 servers? Most likely your answer is going to be yeah, because a lot of these services are, I mean, people think servers are just crunching away all the time. Unless you have like a considerable workload, like the actual work it needs to do, or a considerable load from consumers using it, most of the time they're using very, very little resources. And so a first step might be, can I virtualize all of those things you just named? Half of them I've heard of, but I'm not, familiar with. And then, if you can, then you might want to look into containerization too. And if these are products from companies, that's where it kind of gets tough, especially, I see a lot of this is, companies selling hardware products. That's where it gets real tough too, because they're like, hey, we sell hardware products, but yet, and we have an OS, but yet we're letting people virtualize it. That eats away at our hardware product. And so that gets really odd too. And then on top of that, containerizing something too is even more so. And it's saying like, hey, now we don't need your OS, we just need the process that's running. So those are some of the things you'll have to look at. And those are some of the things that I would investigate. If those are all companies selling you hardware, do I have contracts with each of them, to where it says it has to be on their hardware? No, yes. Okay, if no, then can I virtualize these things? Do they still support it under whatever support contract I have? Yes, no. Okay, do they offer Docker containers? Can I containerize this thing? Yes, no. Those are that's kind of like my decision tree. But for me, at home stuff, it's more like, can I and not should I sometimes. So I kind of go, I'm on the extreme end, but I don't think too extreme. But I'm more on the side of like, I'll make something work, even though it's not popular opinion, at least not yet. It's getting there. Hey, Marcus, the wholesome lad. Oh, that's a good name. Marcus, the wholesome lad. Welcome. Thank you so much for following, and welcome to the channel. Ramhi, hey, cool that you're online. Yeah, good to see you. Skal, congrats on getting 10K. Thank you so much. That was it was a big milestone for me, and I just want to say thank you, because I didn't do anything. You guys did it all. It's kind of how I feel, So yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Asmindia, yo, M Bison, sup? How are you? Long time, Bison. How you doing, man? Good to see you. So M Bison used to stop into my stream. I used to stream a lot of games and platformers, and M Bison also plays a lot of games and platformers. He played a lot of Mega Man. I would watch his streams. Yeah, man. So good to see you. Good to see you, man. And so like when I started on Twitch, M Bison was always there. He was always in my stream. I haven't seen him in probably a year. And I hope you're doing well. But yeah, he loves a lot of retro games. He loves a lot of platformers, just like me. And so we were cut from the same cloth. And so he would always be there in my stream, and I'd try to always be there in his. So yeah, appreciate you, man. How you been? Blast from the past, even though it wasn't that long ago. It was about a year ago. I think so. Work's getting real busy. Yeah, man. No, that's good. That's a good problem, I think. Yeah, I think that's a good problem. Because, I think being busy at work is a good thing, especially considering the times. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So hopefully I answered a lot of those questions. And man, you guys are super awesome. And, I hate to do this, but today is a short stream. My wife and I are planning on doing something, and we have to be somewhere in like an hour and a half. And so in order for me to prepare to be there in time, I have to cut this stream short. I knew this coming in, but I didn't want to say it was a short stream when I started out. And man, I want to thank you guys all for tuning in today. Hey, Tree for Free, thank you so much for subscribing in the end. Thank you so much. Wow, man, that is so awesome. And if you guys have any questions, you can definitely drill them at me really quick. Otherwise, you can join the Discord, use !Discord to join it. There's also a link in the panels. I think there's a link right there. And I apologize, I hate to cut it short because usually I do my Saturday ones a little bit longer, but we have somewhere to be. And so I said I'd be off, and I'm already late getting off, but I was late getting on. But yeah, thank you so much. Oh yes, my link back there is finally working. I spent way too much time trying to get my link. All of my notifications working on my Raspberry Pi. Half of them worked, half of them didn't. So that's awesome to see. So my code worked. I couldn't really test it because of the way Twitch works. But thank you so much. JPO, glad I popped in. This seems like an awesome channel. Great work. Thank you. I appreciate it. Congrats on such an awesome milestone. DZ, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. See you next week on Discord. Congrats on 10K. Thank you, Cowstub. Like I said, if you guys want to continue the conversation, Discord's always there. I'll be back later on tonight as far as Discord. But otherwise, I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Tuesday, 7 Central. But you can hit me up on Discord, hit me up on Twitter. And yeah, I really appreciate it. Again, sorry for cutting it short, but I got to be somewhere. So it's 3 a.m. in India. Oh, man, it's bedtime. Sounds like me last night. Could not fall asleep. I think I was so nervous about today or something, but I didn't fall asleep till 4:30 in the morning, and that's way too late to be awake for me, especially. But yeah. So, anyways, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. Hit me up in Discord. Hit me up on Twitter, and I will be back on Tuesday. So, thank you so much. Sorry about the short stream. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. And I'll see you later. Take care.